Jeff, please feel free, correct me in the comments.
But am I the only one in this room right now that...
You're sure that's not the guy from Final Fantasy?
No, it is. You know, in space, no one can hear you dead.
You know what? I think I've heard that before. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Super deep.
Yeah, that's actually from a video game. So
really?
Yeah.
What video game?
It was cool, so that means video games. It's actually from Kingdom Hearts 2.
You know what? I would actually believe you.
Oh, I would too. Kingdom Hearts is one of those things where I hesitate to even bring it up right now because we are far too early in the episode to make everyone on the planet hate me. But I think Kingdom Hearts might just suck ass.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't get it. I see Xehanort and I go, okay, if that's your man's, then like I'm sorry, but I do not know who this man is.
The only thing I know about Kingdom Hearts is that it's not Final Fantasy.
You know how much
which
money
is
you would
what
have
I
to
thought
give me
it
to make me
was.
give a shit about Mickey Mouse? Like, I'm sorry. I forget that people on any level at any part of the planet think that, like,
Mickey Mouse is like one of the coolest guys.
Even okay. Like, I would even say, like, calling Mickey Mouse, like, interesting or neat or iconic or awesome. Shut up. I get it. Yeah, he was like, oh, back in the day. Who gives a shit? They got, like, anime now. You seen, like, some of these anime freaks? They're so much more badass than Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take. We're 2 minutes in, and I'm sure everyone who's listened is gonna be beating me up this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Kick Jackson's ass live.
Pay for the whole podcast, but you only need the first 3 minutes.
Listen to the whole podcast, but you're gonna hate it after the first 2 minutes.
It's so true.
But the thing about Kingdom Hearts is it's so beloved. It's like beyond touchable. People are like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And then you look at it and it's just like, Mickey, it's Riku. They put bugs in him. Okay. That's your number one draft pick? That's your GOAT? Okay. Yep. That's fine, but okay. No, you don't have to take
I don't
this
know
stand.
anything
You
about...
can...
No, because, like, I don't know anything about, like, Kingdom Hearts, except that, like, I know 2 or 3 of my friends really enjoy it.
Same.
But I just sit here in a world where I'm like, you're sure that's not the guy from Final Fantasy?
No, it is.
And then people say shit like that, and I'm like, so they're like in the same universe, and they're like, no, not at all.
Yeah, and also it's not only is it not the guy from Final Fantasy, Sora's not the guy from Final Fantasy, but guys from Final Fantasy are there.
It confuses me so much, because I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, so is Mickey
Sora and
Mouse.
Cloud are 2 different people. Okay, I'd follow. And then it's like, well, Cloud is kind of there. And I'm like, is he? And they're like, well, not in the way you're saying
really.
it. No. It's I don't know. It's going to be eternally confusing for me. But
I will say, though, I think it's funny that they've got Disney to agree to this in a point where they can't undo it. Because you know that Disney's not like, thank God we have that Square Enix collaboration where they make our people fight gods.
Right? Like, if it happened now, they would never agree to it.
No, and that is the value of Kingdom Hearts that I think is really funny to watch. Where they're like, oh yeah, we have to beat the fuck out of Jafar. Like, oh, we do? Mm-hmm. Why? Oh, because he's actually working in league with God to blow up the earth. And you're like, oh, yeah, we should probably beat up Jafar then. And that's cool.
I really do love an awful lot that so many like JRPGs are just literally about fighting actual God.
I think like Kingdom Hearts could win me over if Kingdom Hearts fans were a little more like, yeah, this thing is like hilariously, campy. Like, just admit that your favorite game is like completely absurd in a way that could be really funny. But I think most of the interactions I've had with Kingdom Hearts fans, they're very, very, very serious about it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to be like, okay, so this is clearly important to you, and I don't want to be mean in this interaction.
Yeah,
and
no
that's
reason
why
to
I
be
then
mean.
come. Yeah, exactly. Like I would never talk shit. Like if someone says I like Kingdom Hearts, I wouldn't be like, you're dumb.
Yeah, because it's not
I wouldn't
dumb.
even give them my
It's
opinion
just,
if they didn't ask for it, because that's just a polite thing to do.
Some people act like it's the most serious storyline that's ever been put forth, and it's like,
yeah,
Mickey Mouse is there.
Yeah, exactly. But as a podcast having person, it is my responsibility to come out here and talk my shit.
Mm-hmm. Again.
And I'm sorry to Kingdom Hearts fans, but it fills time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was Nina and I were talking about this just earlier today. Not Kingdom Heart, but like video game stories, because Nina has been watching The Last of Us. And I don't want to spoil Nina's opinion, but Nina says that the show is really kind of mid, and that it's not the best zombie media that we've had even recently. And I don't know, Jack,
I might throw the flag on that play, because like, what is better? I mean, what good zombie media has been coming out recently?
It's a great question.
And not to come in here with some hate, but I don't know.
There's not a lot of good zombie media out there. I'll be brave and say it.
I watched one of the last season episodes of The Walking Dead because it was on when I was waiting at the dentist.
Oh yeah, no, that's bad.
They were fighting Star Wars guys.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? They got Daryl like with the motorcycle, and he's like, "We ain't the Walking Dead." Have you seen that clip?
No.
Yeah, he says that. He said in one of the final episodes, I guess he says out loud, "We ain't the Walking Dead."
Look at these stormtroopers.
I know. I did when I was at the dentist. I saw them and I was like, "Wow,
what the hell is
on,
this?"
Like a farm or something. I only watched the first like 2 seasons.
This image is really funny. There's like 10 stormtroopers and this mayor-looking dude with propaganda posters. How are they printing out posters?
I don't know. You believe my surprise that I was.
I just love how this show has lived far past its like life cycle.
Oh,
you know,
decades past.
Like when they killed Glenn, interest in the show dropped dramatically. Like they're like, "Oh, we have to kill someone who matters," and then they killed Glenn, and everyone's like, "Well, I'm out. I liked Glenn. See you later."
But they also killed Glenn like 7 times, and then they finally did it one time for real, and then it was like, "Well, I guess we can't fake kill that guy anymore," which was weirdly one thing we were depending on.
And then they got rid of what's his name. Well,
I hated when they did that.
Oh, I don't even remember his fucking name, man.
I was
about to call him Walker Texas Ranger, and I know that's not his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Rick.
Okay, we're circling the drain of topic right now. Because I feel like
that wasn't the point I was trying to make. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in space, no one can hear you dead.
Yeah,
that was where we started. We didn't even get to the space of dead yet.
We didn't.
But first, tell me about The Last of Us, because we gotta wrap up the loose ends.
Nina thinks that the lighting's kind of ugly, that the show is only okay, and that the big heartfelt gay episode was really nice because it's nice to see men loving men relationships portrayed on screen, but also that there's better gay relationship TV shows out there that like hit harder and everything. Not to say that you're dumb like for liking it, but yeah, exactly. Yes, like MILF Island.
Did I talk about MILF Island yet? I did already, yeah.
And I definitely want to hear about it.
No, I totally did. Didn't I?
No, I think you might have mentioned it existed. You told me in person about MILF Island.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, MILF Island is maybe the sickest return to form for TLC, and I think they finally got someone back in the room who was like, what if we just start lying again? And I love that. Because, like, you know, early TLC, early reality TV was so fucking fake. Yeah, MILF Manor. MILF Island was a 30 Rock joke. But the whole, like, early reality TV, when they still had writers for reality TV, and it was so garbagely fake, it was hilarious. And then they kind of got into this, like, 90 Day Fiancé type swing where they could just find idiots.
Yeah.
And idiots are cheaper than writers because they'll go on TV for per diem because they just want to be on TV, and you put a camera in front of them and they're going to ham it up because they're crazy. So, like, they kind of went into that category for a while, and that worked. You know, it did wonders. You got, like, 1,000 Pound Sisters, and they're not even crazy. They're just kind of cool, actually. I'll say it. I like the 1,000 Pound Sisters. They seem like cool people. Anyway, 1,000 Pound Best Friends, My Strange Criminal Addiction. Like, they just found people who did things that were insane and then got them to talk about it.
Yeah.
But now they've kind of, like MILF Manor, I hate to be the one to tell you, it's satire. And I think it's almost
so clearly fake.
It's almost like TLC is now making shows about the insane shows TLC makes.
And honestly, it's about time. I love
think
this
it's really
shit.
Funny.
It's
I think
so
MILF Manor is
weird
good.
And goofy.
But like MILF Manor does drop the ball a couple times because you can tell that the people that they got on board for it are not quite like the premise is good, but it doesn't really hold up to scrutiny. And then the actors sometimes fall through on their delivery, which I don't blame them because it's an insane thing to have to do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, sometimes there seems to be some genuine nuggets of insanity in there. Yeah, MILF Manor is not really worth a watch if I'm being honest, unless you really like that kind of shitty TV. But for sure, don't let the MILF Manor like, oh my god, it's real. They did this. Don't do that.
It's like, no, it's not. Don't lie.
Congratulations, target audience. Because I've had so many people say to me like, oh, have you heard about MILF Manor? The reality TV is going too far. I'm like, oh, shut up. It's like, they're not gonna fuck their own kids.
Right? It's not.
You think that 8 households collectively had such bad communication skills with their children that they're apparently close to the degree where they fetishize people like their own children and mothers. You think that these people have such close relationships that they all believed genuinely they were going to different villas in Mexico that were unrelated and going to have a very, very similar, almost identical experience. Like,
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I would definitely believe that, personally.
I do suppose there's a level in which you can make them sign an NDA, but come on. If you're close with your parents and you have an NDA signed, you're going to tell them what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. NDAs are more for the press than they are for your mom. Like, what? Especially if you're like, oh, it's crazy, you're going to Mexico for a reality TV show too? What's it about? Oh, you're going to be hooking up with like a group of hot young men? That's crazy. I'm going to be hooking up with a group of hot moms. Wait a second. It falls through a little bit when you get there.
Right. Or you could choose to suspend your disbelief and watch this batshit insane show.
I'll say and it though, it's not that insane.
This is fake. Conceptually
yeah.
show.
I think the delivery is actually a little underwhelming. I found myself in many instances being like, okay. Like, I wasn't... The drama isn't really there because I think they bit off more than they could chew. It definitely won headlines over, but I think that...
I mean, you Google headlines and everyone's like, oh, this show is so... It blurs the line between what's acceptable TV and what's not. And it's like...
Not really. They don't... It's not like... They're clearly, first of all, not hooking up with their own kids. That's not even teased at all as part of an option.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah... I mean, that's not legal.
And also, I'm going to say it. I don't even think they're related.
No, I think they are.
Oh, you think so?
I think at least in some instances they are. They might be totally fake, but I think they've got to hold up to at least some scrutiny. Well, I mean, there's got to be some scrutiny though, where like,
where someone can say, yeah, actually, these are some people from my hometown and blah blah blah,
and they are mother son, or because acting is something that often runs in a family anyway. And it's not like they're full on acting. They are also on a dating show, so they are also hamming it up. But it's clear from the beginning that the show suffers because there's no goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the show doesn't want them to do anything. It just wants them to be there. And that doesn't really work.
And this is nothing at all like Dead Space, which has a very clearly outlined goal.
Yeah, which is like...
You gotta
space. Stop the necromorph from getting on the Ishimura.
Oh, that too. Much like Final Fantasy, where you kill God, and much like Persona, where you kill God, and much like anything else where you kill God, in Dead Space, you have to kill space.
Me when there's a Brother Moon, this is going to be an issue.
God. I like to pretend that most of the story from Dead Space 3 doesn't exist. I think it's better if the game ends at Dead Space 2, personally.
So how you've played the remake?
I am 3/4 of the way through, and
so how is it?
Honestly, I have not experienced a great deal of the remake scene, right? Like, I haven't played any of the Resident Evil ones that have been like very well received because I was just never a huge Resident Evil guy. But I will say, this is a really, really good remake. I was talking to Dan about this last week, where even if the remake was bad, I still think that the original game holds up really well, so I wasn't going to be sad about it. But there's definitely moments where you're like, oh, wow, this game could be a little bit better. This game is a little bit, it's okay, The
remake?
No, the original.
Oh, okay.
And the remake, on the other hand, takes all the best parts from Dead Space 2 and nothing from Dead Space 3 and puts it all together in an engine that runs smoothly.
All the best parts from Dead Space 2, like when you spawn into the game and you get endgame weapons available to you immediately of all varieties at max level because you paid for the DLC, even though you didn't pay for the DLC, you just bought the edition that had the DLC included.
Firstly, they're not at max level. You still have to level them up.
Oh, so true, but they just saw everything in half immediately?
Yes. And then because the game difficulty curves so hard as it goes on, it's actually impossible to win.
Dead Space 2 is impossible to win?
No, but I was really mad because to win the game, I had to do ammo conservation from the get-go, and I wasn't doing that. I was just allowing myself to have fun because I kept getting plenty of ammo. But then the game sends you into so many areas where you are just sinking ammo.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
they
hordes.
don't give you a lot of health, and it's like, hey man, this is not fun. My opinion, and I saw another video essay guy talk about it, and he said the same thing, so I know I'm right, is
So
that
true.
it's not a good horror game if I'm constantly frustrated at dying. I should be afraid of dying constantly, but I shouldn't die that often, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like Alien Isolation.
Yeah, where like the game just like you get deadened to it because the necromorph, the xenomorph
Thank you.
is constantly
Such
following
huge
you so close that it's like, well, I'm not afraid of it anymore. It's just always there, and now it's just annoying that I keep dying.
Well, I feel like I didn't die that many times in Alien Isolation, but maybe I'm just the best gamer to ever do it.
So true. I actually, in fairness, I've never played Alien Isolation. I just know that a lot of people heavily recommend downloading the mod that untethers the xenomorph from you and lets it travel the whole ship without always being in a certain radius to you, so that you can actually get surprised.
It kind of gets to the point where like you're playing safe more than playing scary.
Yeah. And
But that game's still really fun.
yeah. And I like stuff like that. And that's one of the things that I think the new Dead Space really managed to do, because in OG Dead Space, you could return to areas you had been before that was part of the game, and there would not be like leftover necromorph bits. But now there are all the there's still like dead bodies that persist room to room. Not every body that you drop, but like a few, so that you remember, hey, remember how you were here? Yeah, that's right. And I really like that because it helps me actually feel like I've been in different areas. But then also they let enemies repopulate emptied out rooms. So I can go into an area that I have cleared before, and there's just going to be some new guys every now and then. You know, not every single time. It doesn't always flood me with enemies, but there's a couple of new guys in there, and they just like do their job. And I really, really like that. It really works.
I love when they're doing their job, you know? Like, what are we paying you necromorphs for?
That's what I'm saying. Come on, if you're not killing everyone and resurrecting them as a big amorphous blob of flesh in a moon shape, what are you even doing?
Yeah, it's kind of sad, honestly, but that's just the state of the world these days. People don't want to work.
Yeah, people don't want to be a big moon of flesh that corrupts the universe.
It's pathetic.
Sad.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like, men used to be...
Men used to be men.
What happened?
A nice thing about Dead Space is that it's a fully voiced game now. In the original Dead Space, Isaac did not have a voice, and he didn't even have a face until the very end of the game. Now, you can see his face from the very beginning. He's talking. It makes him a much more, like, emotional character that actually, you know, like, cares about what he's doing. And I really think that that very much works for the game as a whole. There's side stories
really
now.
Strange to me.
Yeah, I was very skeptical the first time around. When I heard about it, I'm like, I don't know. I liked my silent protagonist, but now since he's engaging in the stories instead of just being told what to do, because
and he wasn't silent in the sequel, so like even if you liked him silent, it's too late now.
Yeah, exactly.
The decision was made.
Mm-hmm. And I am happy they made that change. He feels like actually a character plugged into things. There's a moment you may remember in the beginning of the game. You go back to get on your ship and see how it's doing, and then you have to exit because the ship's about to blow up.
So it wasn't doing too good.
Exactly. But instead, this time around, instead of walking off the ship and it blows up behind you, there's actually a couple of like cutscenes in this game now. So you turn around, and my expectation is I'm going to walk off this ship and it's going to blow up. No, I got blown right out the windshield, and that scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh no. Things are a little different now. That was the first time I realized the game actually had like severe differences.
That's fun though, because that makes it's a horror game.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. It's not what I expect anymore. There's new ways to interact with stuff. You know, you're not just sitting there. Like, there's no more turret section where you just have to shoot at asteroids. You actually go out into space and manually target them.
The turret section, actually.
The turret section was fine, and you still do turret stuff, but you do it differently. You're not sitting in the turret seat anymore. It's more interactive.
Okay.
And the way they connect to different areas, you don't just hop on the tram anymore, because, you know, you used to end each level on the tram and start each level on the tram. Now you unlock tram stations, but that's not your core way of getting around. They added like tunnels and back roads or back, you know, corridors.
They
that
actually
lead
added
from area to area.
They added the stag beetle from Hollow Knight in a very risky move.
In a brave mood, yes, they added the stag beetle from Hollow Knight in the back rooms. Incredibly brave of them.
I heard they're putting the back rooms in McDonald's.
Honestly, it's about time because I feel like they've always been there personally, and I'm glad that they're just basically admitting it.
Am I the only one in this room right now?
I think you are.
Yes. In general, yes. But am I the only one in this room right now that is really, really not a fan of the back rooms?
You are not. I think the back rooms are cool in concept and super overplayed.
Yeah, that's why I hate it. I think it's like once something gets overplayed, the concept is now like it's been forever changed. It's like a Mothman. Like Mothman sucks now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mothman used to be like a fun thing. I went to the Mothman Museum years ago, and I just thought it was
a
like
fun little guy.
Yeah, and now it's like such a weird online thing.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have to be. It's just a Mothman. It's just a little cryptid. Let it be. Don't be like Mothman is my friend. He's Mothman. He's like characterized in all these different ways. Just like
Mothman's love, Mothman's
how many cool
life.
things does West Virginia have? If we're being honest, not even Mothman. The actual story isn't even that cool.
Yeah, the actual story is just like, it's fine. It's a fine story, but the mythology that's sprung up around it is way cooler than Mothman.
Exactly, but it's so overplayed at this point that it's not even really like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just kind of, the magic's gone. And you can't really bring it back. You can't but it's also like, some people are enjoying it now, and good for them. But time is not there for me to enjoy Mothman anymore. It doesn't hit the same.
I'm not going to be mad at people for still enjoying Mothman. I think that makes sense. But it's just,
It's just fundamentally changed what Mothman is. Which is fine, because Mothman's not real.
When the Backrooms was just that one kid who was doing his, like, weird Backrooms videos, I liked it a lot. Because it was not too big, it wasn't too much, but now so many people have added lore to the Backrooms.
Yeah, it's kind of like an SCP, like any kind of analog horror has the potential to get that way.
Yeah, and that's what I like. The Backrooms were nice because I didn't know anything about them. I don't want to know anything about them. That's it, And people are like, wouldn't it be cool if we mapped out the Backrooms and had all this story? And it's like, no, actually, I don't like that. I like the hints at that information that I got from this kid's videos, but like beyond that, I don't really want anything. I liked it before.
It's also something that has gone so far away from the creator of the situation, where it's now in the public's hands, which isn't always a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to something that's someone's passion project, it can then get oversaturated and the magic is gone. Because
I'm pretty sure initially the Backrooms were like some 4chan post of just probably a beige room with fluorescent lighting.
Y'all don't know about the Backrooms, LOL.
But then I think it's like Zane Pixel or something is the one that made the current rendition of the Backrooms that's so popular.
And good for them. Good for you. What's Olivia Rodrigo doing these days?
I don't know.
Probably just like being Kane.
Kane Pixels, not Zane. Kane Pixels.
Yeah, I think sometimes things just... and also, I don't think it's a problem to be like done with something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes things are what they are, and then they cease to be that, and that's okay, but then you're just out. And you gotta just let things fizzle out, or let things, be great and have an ending. Or come out in like a small amount. Sometimes overconsumption of like different things, especially in online spaces, can create an oversaturation of the thing that's actually good, and then you can have too much of a good thing.
Well, especially because like sometimes, I'm sure you have experienced this on TikTok a lot, where people will see somebody's goofy little joke that was made on Twitter or something, and then you'll see someone on TikTok repeat the joke as if it's their own original joke.
I love when people would just completely remake a TikTok that's already been made.
Yeah, that too. Ancient ass Tumblr posts that people are pretending they came up with, like things like that. Yeah, and it's like,
I hate to say it. I've been out of Twitter for a little while, and I think I'm out of Tumblr pretty soon.
No,
I know I've been on Tumblr for like well over a decade now, but it's every third post is an ad. It's monetized in the same way Facebook is. I no longer am seeing things in chronological order based on who I'm following. It's now based on likes in your orbit. You might check this person out, this thing that, sponsored post, ancient post, thing from Neil Gaiman, which is, I hate to say it, Neil Gaiman on Tumblr, insufferable.
You think so?
The most like I'm on Tumblr. Like the most like, come on, we're past that. Tumblr's past that as an ecosystem. I think the Neil Gaiman posting is like very John Green.
Yeah, I get that.
He's like, I am a famous author on the internet. I am here to tell you that was epic. I'm like, dude, you write good books. Please don't do this. Please don't say lay epic on the internet in 2023. Or do. You're allowed to. I just lose interest.
See, I don't really
Tumblr's
mind.
just been over monetized since Twitter's having issues.
I don't really mind like Neil Gaiman being in existence on here and doing his thing, only because he's been doing it so consistently.
Yeah,
But it's definitely over monetized. Like if you're on your phone, you cannot avoid ads.
Yeah, and it's always in your orbit and suggesting posts that I have no desire to see.
Right? Like, because right now,
it suggests the corny ass Tumblr posts.
I'm over here on desktop, just flipping through. I haven't seen. Oh, you know what? Okay, I do have an ad block on. I'm realizing, so that's why I haven't seen a single ad. But I also haven't seen any in your orbit stuff or anything because it's like on desktop it actually separates your tabs cleanly. You know, there's following for you and your tags. And that,
so
I
I've opened and I'm on
concept.
following. First thing that shows up is something liked by someone I don't even follow about animal video. Sure, it's a cat video. I don't hate that, but I not liking it. Mm-hmm. So that's the first post that shows up, not by anyone following and not even liked by someone I'm following. And then after that is immediately a sponsored post from Amazon. Immediately after that, once again, we have a post liked by someone I didn't follow about something I have no interest in, which is like a little stuffed animal bug someone made. Sure, that's fairly cool, but I don't care. That's not what I'm on this website for.
Yeah.
And then the next post after that, liked by someone I don't follow yet again. This time a whole bunch of pictures of like, it's like an aesthetic post of like lighting. And again, that's not what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. Next post after that, liked by someone I don't follow. It's just a shitty text post that is like so 2010. It says, keep busy with survival, imitate the trees. I don't give a shit! This sucks! This website is ass, and that's so sad because it's one of the only good forms of social media that's remained like fairly consistently good and giving you the things that you try to get for yourself. It's like one of the only bastions of that, and it's literally gone. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after that, another ad from Amazon. Immediately after that, another post liked by someone I don't follow of an old aesthetic building that's like a misty Silent Hill looking. I don't care. That's not what I'm here for. And I've never even liked that. I don't follow this person, and I don't follow the person that liked this post. I don't want it. Like, that's why I didn't follow that person. That's why I didn't follow the person that liked the post. And if I did follow the person that liked the post, I followed them because I want to see what they reblog, not what they like, because there's two different buttons and they mean different things. And then immediately after that is another post liked by someone I don't follow. So we're here, and then after that it's a post from someone I follow that's actually kind of funny. It's Sasquatch materializing, and then someone saying Big Feet is real. And that goes hard. That's what I'm here for. But I got to that eventually following someone. It's posted from someone I follow after two ads, and then let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts and 2 ads before I got a single thing from someone I followed on this app. That is completely unacceptable.
It is 100%.
That's not using anymore. That's not going on to an app and following and looking at things that you like that you've cultivated over the course of a decade because you find them funny and entertaining, and it's what you have decided the social media platform is for you. It's being absolutely stripped away in order to be homogenized to make more money for people. And that's so shitty. Because sure, it exists to make money, but for the longest time, I think Tumblr was something I really enjoyed and like had a good time interacting with. But it just isn't now. Mm-hmm. Because it's just that, over and over again, forcing me to care about things that I don't like. And TikTok does the same thing half the time. Like, the For You page is a good idea, but most of the time things show up on there that I don't like at all. And I don't interact with in the slightest.
I'm honestly amazed at how poorly TikTok's algorithm understands how to remove things from your orbit.
I got a thirst trap today of a teenage boy singing Radioactive by Imagine Dragons in the rain in a hoodie with like ear piercing and a smile filter on.
I cannot think of any single thing that is less you than that.
I know, and the problem is I'm not interacting with these things on social media in a way other than saying I don't like them. And even then I've started doing that a lot less because, you know, my existence isn't meant to be marketed towards. And it sucks that, like, I can choose to either let myself be fully marketed to as an entity, or I can enjoy things. But anymore you can't enjoy things without letting them sell them to you. And it sucks. So if you're listening and you have an alternative, an idea, or maybe even a social media network that isn't completely garbage, let me know. But I just am kind of done. And that's like sad to say, because I've been defending Tumblr and using Tumblr for over a decade on the basis that it's one of the only social media sites where you can truly have an experience that you want. But not anymore.
I really wish that there were more social medias that were actually like decent, because every now and then I'll go and I'll try and figure out like a new one, you know, like something new comes along and I'm like, I'm going to try this out. Like when Mastodon came out like years ago, I went to try and make a Mastodon account. I couldn't figure it out because they weren't accepting new people on the plain social account then. I didn't get it, so I didn't go on it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Mastodon is like not really an alternative to anything because it's
weird.
It's difficult on purpose.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like free range open source social media. I think that's a bad idea. You need to have some sort of grounding there. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of little walled cities. And when you claim your name on one of the Mastodon servers, it doesn't globally claim it. So I could have someone with my tag on a different server.
Yeah, pretending to be me. You. Yeah, and then being like. I also just like take issue with the fact that why do social media pages or like sites even allow you to do things like follow people? It doesn't matter. You're not going to show me what they're posting. Twitter doesn't. You can follow everyone you want in the world on Twitter, and you're just going to get ads for Pepsi 1,000 times. Like, it doesn't matter who you follow on anywhere anymore. You're following who's being sponsored. You're following who's paying money to get their ad pushed to the front.
Very annoying. Incredibly annoying.
And yeah, it's like you get to see it in real time happening with Tumblr to a degree that's like, I think they've done it way too fast. And I don't know, other people don't seem to have a problem with it. It seems like a lot of people have come, like, quote unquote, back to Tumblr.
Mm-hmm. But because they came back from somewhere that was actually worse than Tumblr is right now, it's like, oh, this is normal. This is fine.
Yeah, and they're also, you know, the back to Tumblr mentality is also like the, oh, Tumblr's been the same this whole time mentality. And it's like, come on, like the ecosystem has changed wildly, and now there's like an influx of people who are back, and they're like, time to post Doctor Who again. I'm like, oh, not again.
Oh yeah.
Thought we were rid of you guys. And then on top of that, it's just like, hey, would you like another ad for Amazon? No, you just sent me one of those. Oh, well, would you like another? No, not really.
You know, I'm amazed, actually. I'm flipping through on my phone where I'm not blocking ads, and it took me a few posts to see something that like was an actual ad, because there's a few sponsored by Blaze, which is an ad, but it's like it's a little different.
Yeah, but that's sad because I've just used it so long and so much that they're like, this guy's safe. Roll out the monetization.
Mm-hmm. Although I will say I'm getting a lot of ads right now that I think are hilarious, and it involves a recent life change that I've made. A little over a week ago, I bought a rowing machine.
Okay.
And
that's the best piece of exercise equipment, by the way.
I would agree. With the exception of the fact that it's like boring as shit, which all exercising is.
That's fair.
But there's a little spot where I can put my phone in front of me, so I just have to find a good video and put it on, and I'm usually good to go. The day I purchased my rowing machine, I have not stopped getting more rowing machine ads every single day. It's like, oh, you like your little poor man's rowing machine. What about this $3,000 rowing machine? It's made out of wood and it has water. And I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. Are you kidding me? That's so expensive.
It'd probably go hard though.
Oh, without a doubt. I would love to have that one. It looks nice. I'm sure it rows nice. But you know what? I'm set up in my basement. I can barely stand up straight in my basement. Like I cannot, without hunching, I cannot walk through the basement. I'm not going to put a nice thing down there, you know? And I think it's really fun because it's the same company that I keep getting these ads for constantly over and over. It's something that starts with an A. Let me find it because it was on Tumblr. Aviron. Let's see. The Aviron rowing machine. Oh, this isn't even the expensive one. Okay, so there's like 2 or 3 that I keep getting. And it's so weird because I don't want this. And this one specifically is the worst ever concept of an exercise machine. And I'm going to tell you this stuff, and I know you're going to hate every second of it. You ready?
No way.
I'm just going to give you the first selling point they have that their competition doesn't have, that they're like, oh, look at this. Streaming, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and more.
Awesome.
Let's see. There's Spotify integration, which honestly,
Badass.
I'm not gonna shit on that one specifically. But also, why does my exercise equipment need to be connected to the internet?
You got a phone.
Yeah,
Probably right by you.
this is literally
It's at home.
conceptually, this is the exact same thing as like the Peloton. There's a membership price you have to pay to use your rowing machine.
Thank God.
I'm not doing that shit. I bought one rowing machine and it is fine. And it's not it's not great. It is just a rowing machine. It doesn't have a huge variety of options.
Yeah, but it's a rowing machine.
Yeah. That's
all
all I
have
need.
to have options.
It
It's a
literally
rowing
just needs
machine.
to
It has to row.
Yeah, when I pull on it, it needs to resist so that I get a nice little full body workout out of it. That's all I want. And it's insane to me that there are people who are out there paying a membership fee to use their thing rather than just because there's people who put out exercise routines online for free. There are YouTube channels devoted to, hey, here's your daily thing. Start this video when you're ready to go. And that's it. You know, like that's it works. It's normal.
Yeah.
I understand the competition aspect. Like I think like Peloton is a great example. I listen to Northern Lion like talk up his Peloton constantly and how much he enjoys what he gets out of it. And you know what?
But
Good
there's
for him.
also a huge tax bracket difference between us and him.
Exactly.
And I'm willing to accept that, like, if you're pretty rich, you know, if you're like making six figures, you can have a Peloton. It's a couple grand, and that's not a cheap thing for you if you're making six figures.
Yeah,
but hey,
it's a couple grand. And also, I get it. Having like leaderboards, having tracked stats that show you how hard you're working. It is a way to actually get you plugged in more and do it.
Yeah, and
I
if
have
you're
that on an app
who
on the
a
side.
Peloton, like if one of your paychecks is more than a Peloton costs, I think it's a completely reasonable thing to have. And I also think that you're not obscenely wealthy. Like that, I think that you can own a Peloton and be like, and I there's people that would own one and I wouldn't be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like Mari's like godparents, one of like her godfather is an attorney. And, you know, so they're making better money than I am.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, also not, like, insane. So, like, if he was like, oh, I want to exercise more, I got a Peloton, I'd be, like, completely reasonable.
Yeah. It's a built-in gym experience in your basement.
I think it's probably not for me in the near future, but I get it.
Yeah.
I think that having thousands of dollars spent in a really nice piece of exercise equipment is totally fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a great investment. Like, it's literally you are just investing in yourself if you are able and willing to spend a little bit of extra money on a decent piece of exercise equipment. But then you are eventually quite quickly going to hit a point where you're paying get wildly diminishing returns. Like, let's say you get a combination like weight machine for the same money that you'd spend for like one of those 4-sided weight machines where you can do pull-ups, you can do whatever.
Pull down bar.
Just get a weight bench, you know? And you'll get...
It works on free weights.
Yeah, because free weights are better for you because it also works out the muscles that support your muscles.
It's true.
Rather than just working on single muscle groups.
This guy's been working out.
This guy's got I don't know, is Jeff a retired power lifter now?
I don't know.
One competition.
Does Jeff still power lift?
Not really. No, they just work
retirement.
out.
That's retirement then.
Retired rock star, retired powerlifter. Jeff, please feel free. Correct me in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Blah blah blah. But
what's happening, YouTube?
It's your boy G-Eazy, and today we're gonna. I don't know why.
I think that one's taken. Yeah, that one's taken.
You know what's one of the best workouts you can do, by the way? Like on just like a free weight front, if you're not willing to like put money into big things, fucking a backpack full of bags of water.
Or rocks if you're really living your life.
Rocks stay steady is the thing, but water wiggles and is miserable to lift and move around because it wiggles so much that you have to try and hold it still.
Maybe for you, but I know the way of water, so.
Oh, my mistake. I forgot. You know, you do know the way of water, unlike me, a plebeian who doesn't understand James Cameron's genius.
Thank you for understanding that. Yeah, I think that working out is something that's worth spending some money on, but I also think that ads suck, and when I see them for anything, it makes me hate it. And I think less of people who see an ad and go, that's really cool. And this is directly addressing people who
I
have
only watch the Super Bowl for the ads.
Oh, 100%. And if you have any positive feelings towards an ad that you see, if you're like, that's so funny, you suck. If you like the Burger King Whopper ad, you suck.
God,
That's a lot. You're allowed to. Sing it. It's a catchy song.
I was
going to
say, I love the remix with the Daft Punk song. I think it's funny, but I don't think it's as deep as some people think it is. Also, frankly, hats off to their marketing team for making an ad where they're like, what if we just did a really shitty song and people are going to love it because it's so shitty? Initially, they'll be like, what the fuck is this? This sucks. And then it turns into this sucks. It's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's so sad to watch happen in real time because people are like, this ad is crazy. And then a month later, they're like, but it's so catchy. It's not catchy. They played it for you 800 times. That's not catchy. That's like, cigarettes aren't crazy addictive. If you smoke one of them, you don't get addicted to cigarettes. If you smoke 800 cigarettes, you're probably going to have a problem. And that's what the Burger King ad did.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the Whopper commercial 50 times, and now you're like, it's stuck in my head. Of course it is. It's the only thing they'd let you see. If you watched a single football game this year, you saw that ad 5 times at least.
Oh, I hate that. That is
and
one
Burger
thing.
King's not even good. It didn't make me go there once.
You know what?
I know you're a Burger King apologist.
No, but that's the thing is I love Burger King's fries, but then I never choose to go to Burger King. If I'm going to go to a fast food place, I have an Arby's right near me and I don't mind Arby's, or I'll go to a Taco Bell. I never choose to go to Burger King. And I don't know. I think about that every now and then. There's like certain restaurants that I have positive opinions of that I'll never go to. And then other restaurants I have neutral positive opinions on that I go to very frequently. Well, like relatively very frequently, like in the grand scheme of things. I don't go anywhere very frequently.
Yeah, I don't really have any like fast food restaurants that always comes like my number one pick. I think probably like Taco Bell if I'm going. But I've been working in town now to the point where I'm in town and I have a lunch break every day.
Yeah.
And it's like where I work is pretty close to like the main stretch of like restaurants and stuff in Erie. So I've been going to a lot of like fast food places on my break. So I've been kind of getting the lay of the land. I went to Burger King for their breakfast because my break is pretty early in the day, so I can kind of pick between breakfast or lunch.
Yeah.
And I got Burger King's breakfast, and I will say I think it's definitely better than their lunch.
I'll believe that.
They got the little croissant sandwiches. I'm a fan.
You know what? You know who else's breakfast is better than their lunch? Is not even a hot take. It's just McDonald's. Their breakfast goes really hard.
I can see that. I don't know how much in the same boat I am because I got McDonald's breakfast. For me, there's a couple items that are great, and then a lot of items that I think are quite lackluster. But their lunch is the same way for me. Their post-breakfast stuff, I also think there's a couple items that I'm like, I'm getting this every time. And then there's a couple items that I'm like, you'd have to strangle me to make me order that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that their breakfast is better. If I had to pick, I don't think you're crazy for saying that, but I might lean towards the lunch.
That's fair.
Although they have the breakfast McChickens now.
I'm just like really breakfast pilled for most restaurants. I love breakfast food. I
think when it comes to fast food, breakfast usually ends up, even if not overall tasting better, feeling better, because it's usually cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
For like the premium stuff anyway. Like you get the most expensive breakfast sandwich at McDonald's, it's like the steak and egg bagel and it's like $5. The most expensive thing on their like dinner menu is I don't know, probably like $8-9.
Yeah.
So the breakfast feels good because it's cheaper. And then it also is just like breakfast. It's classic. It's hard to fuck up. It's eggs, eggs and bacon. It's not going to be vile.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get like bad fast food, like chicken, I'm looking at you, Burger King. Their cheap chicken at Burger King is disgusting.
So bad.
It's so bad. But then like I've never had a fast food egg, and I've been like, this is disgusting. I've been like,
It's just like, yep, that's it.
There's probably people that are listening and they're like, what are these people talking about? Fast food breakfast is garbage.
That's the biggest thing I regret about or that I miss. Not regret. I don't really regret it. I just miss it from Chick-fil-A is their breakfast sandwiches.
I've never had their breakfast before.
It's really good is the problem. You get fried chicken on a fresh, like scratch-made biscuit. That's
one of the most valuable combinations on the planet to me. Fried chicken. I've said it before in the podcast, and I'll say it again. This is my cross to bear. I think fried chicken is the best breakfast meat.
I would agree.
If someone asks me what do I want, if they're like, hey, what's your pick for breakfast meat? I'm gonna say ham or bacon, depending on where I'm at. But like, if in my heart of hearts I had to give you the true answer, it's always fried chicken. But that's just not socially okay most of the time.
Yeah,
People
you
aren't
can't
ready
say
for that
that.
conversation. Yeah, you can't say that anymore. You can't be like, I want fried chicken for breakfast.
People are afraid of allowing you to have fried chicken for breakfast.
They're so scared. But yeah, I love a good, like, I'll go to McDonald's and get the McChicken biscuit. I don't care.
I do love.
Is it the best chicken biscuit for breakfast? Oh God, no, not even close.
I haven't tried McDonald's biscuits, but I do love their like English muffin.
Their biscuits are pretty good.
Nice.
Wendy's breakfast, I still think came late, but really delivered.
I never tried that.
It's new. I mean, they've only had it for like probably like just about a year.
Huh.
They didn't have breakfast for the longest time, and then they pretty recently stepped into breakfast, and it's good.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I think the last time, Wendy's is another place I have generally positive feelings towards, but I don't get often. And I think
breakfast Baconator.
Man, it's the Baconator has ruined Wendy's for me. Because I
like to say it's ruined my life.
No. But like I don't mind Wendy's, but I don't like the Baconator, and I think it's part of my general like distaste for bacon culture people. Because bacon's fine. I like bacon. I will go so far to bravely say bacon's good. But
I have so bold.
I have so little patience for people who are like, oh yeah, bacon, le epic bacon.
I mean, the narwhal bacon's at midnight, so
God, the narwhal bacon's at midnight is
maybe jot that down.
Like, people like to razz on Tumblr users for the what's our secret Tumblr code? Nice shoelaces, thanks, I stole them from the president. That's normal. That's like normal words to say. That isn't the narwhal bacon's at midnight.
Yeah, I think that Reddit is by far my worst enemy on the planet.
Every now and then, I want to get back into forums. I like have good
using
memories.
Reddit is fine,
but I
Reddit
cannot bring myself to re-enter into like this den of like shitty people and crypto bros. I don't want that. I don't want to be near that. And
it is really strange to me when because I don't think I have a super insular internet experience. I think I am not super closed off to any like corners of the internet for the most part. But it is really strange to me when I interact with people that are just like not up to speed. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how to say that. Like, I don't know a better way to say it. But like, you ever just interact with somebody who's like,
it is insane
conservative
to me.
in 2023, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like how are you going to be alive this long and you just haven't caught up yet?
Yeah, like the other day, I heard someone make a joke. I mean, it wasn't like someone I was with, but I was out and I heard someone make a joke about like, what if they identify as blah blah blah, and I just was sitting there. I was like, wait, what? Did someone just say that? Mm-hmm. Still? And it's not like I was deeply offended or triggered or upset. I was just like, dog, that's lame. Mm-hmm. That's not like, in no way am I even like offended by it, but I'm just like, wait, did you just say like, what if I identify it? Shut up. Like, are you serious? Ugh. I forget that people still live in that type of world. I forget that people have weird bigoted takes. Because I'm so far removed from it in like most instances of my interaction with people. But then you'll just hear someone make a comment like that, and you're like, did you just joke about gender identity? That's so trite.
It's so embarrassing
like,
to see shit like that.
We're so over that. No one's saying that anymore.
But somehow people are. They still think it's funny somehow.
You can't say anything these days. What are you talking about? Say whatever you want. I'm just probably going to be mean to you about it.
Yeah.
And like, if your problem is that I'm going to be mean to you about it, then like, I can't help you. But you can say whatever you want. People just don't agree with you anymore.
Right.
That's the part that's so strange to me. Like, you're just serious about it.
I don't know.
But I very rarely interact with those people, especially online. But when you see them again online, when you're on somewhere and you just like encounter somebody who says something, even when I hear someone say something crazy about like using the word woke.
And I see people use the word woke, and it's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you still talking like that?
Yeah.
There are grown-ass 40-year-old adults in the Senate who are talking about this, and it's like, dude.
Like, you're like 63 and you're worried about woke culture? Dog, you should be worried about Life Alert. Like, it's all good. Like, no one's mad at you for this because, like, no one expects anything else from you.
Right?
Because no one you're like a 70-year-old man. No one expects you to be better. But like
we've written you off respectfully.
Yeah, you're the joke. Like, you don't get that you're the joke. And it sucks that you still have so much like cultural power.
Yeah.
But like, it's very strange when you interact with like a conservative or like even just like a completely unaware, like, socially white person, and you're like, they're like, oh, white people are becoming like the minority, and you're like, okay,
like, no, they're not, but more power to you.
I mean, I suppose technically, like, the numbers, sure, there are more people of color, like, in terms of year-on-year population growth, but like, who cares?
Yeah,
sure, there are more people of color being born than white people being born. Okay.
Like, I probably have said this before, but every now and then I think back to like revelations I had growing up where I'm like, oh, I was a little shitty. Well, that's part of growing up. And then I look at like friends of mine, like my peers growing up, and I'm like, how did they not know that's like a little shitty, but hey, that's part of growing up? How am I the only one that realized, hey, these beliefs I had suck? How am
it's not part of growing up, unfortunately.
It's so weird.
It's part of maturing, but maturing and growing up aren't always the same thing.
I can't imagine like going through my whole life and never challenging a single one of the opinions I had when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's also so strange to interact with people who didn't grow up. It's almost always the church that does this.
Yes.
But it's really strange to interact with people who didn't grow up with either conservative parents or the church. And sometimes, like... Both,
shall we say?
But, like, some would say even both of these things. But you interact with someone who didn't grow up in the church or didn't grow up with conservative parents, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was 8 and my parents told me that, like, gay marriage was going to blow up the planet. And they'll be like, that's crazy. How did you ever believe that? I was 8!
Yeah.
Of course I believed it. I was 8.
And
these were people that weren't supposed to lie to me.
Yeah, it's just a thing that people said. And it's like, oh, every adult I know says this shit. I guess it must be true.
Yeah, and you're a child. These people are supposed to tell you the truth and protect you and raise you up right. And they're telling you that's what they're doing. And you're 8. It's so sad when, like, you have to, as an adult, get over the guilt and stop putting the blame on yourself for the things that you were forced to believe by people who were socially in the wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, man, the thing I was told by people that I should have been able to trust, and in many ways still could have and still do, like, yeah, they were wrong. And I was 8, and I believed them because I was a child and they were the authority figure in my life. And I have to live with the guilt of knowing that, yeah, as a kid I grew up with terrible beliefs because they were instilled in me.
100%.
And if not by my parents, by the people around me.
Mm-hmm. For all the damage that the internet has done to people, I will say one of the things that it's done that I'm very pleased about is it's introduced people to the concept of other people having like thoughts, feelings, and autonomy. Because it was so easy before the internet to grow up in your tiny community, never leave your tiny community, and literally never have any idea what the rest of the... Exactly. You never have an idea of what the rest of the world is. Now, we're in a space where if you want, you can just go. Like, you can go for not a lot, like a lot of money, but less than you're imagining if you grow up in a little, like, shithole kind of town. You can go to Europe, and you can go there for, like, a week and spend less money than you're imagining you're going to spend unless you've actually looked into it recently, you know? And you can experience another culture like that. Or
but then you can go to Europe.
Like, I can get online, like, I can get on Reddit, and I can talk to someone from the UK about our mutual love of, to loop it back around to Dead Space, you know, like I can talk with some thousands of other people all around the world about how much I loved a specific element of the new Dead Space game. And it's like, wow, these people are just like me. And you realize, oh, other people exist, and they're not just like a caricature of another culture that exists for storybook purposes and things like that. They have feelings,
Yeah.
they have like motivations in life. And then you start to realize, oh, well, if other people also have feelings and motivation, then like maybe they're not like people group blanket this, that, the other thing that I was told growing up.
Yeah, and the problem with even that is that it's not that we were like, oh, no one knew. Oh, everyone's been known this for hundreds of years, but unfortunately we were raised within a specific organization that has actively tried to stop people from having those realizations and feelings, even though they've been completely possible and, in many people's instances, completely normalized.
Yeah.
Like, that's the strangest thing to me about, like, even just, like, being with Mari as, like, my partner, is it's a completely different world. The fact that, like, she grew up with two moms.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up with two moms.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I am not in the slightest bit homophobic. Clearly, obviously, from anything people know about me. But, like, it's very strange to me that growing up as a child, I would have been, if I had asked, if, let's say Mari was one of my classmates, and I was like, Mari has two moms, what's wrong with that? I would have been told that they were living a life of sin, and that they were doing things wrong, and that they were not bad people, they were practicing evil. And that's beyond crazy to someone like Mari who grew up with that.
Yeah. And it's
so,
just like, not only was it normal, but it was like not even a question that would have been raised.
Yeah, and until, of course, you know, you're a child and you have gay parents and people at school are being told by their parents that that's a sin and that's evil and that they're not supposed to be doing that. And so now you're getting bullied by other people at school for something you thought was just a normal part of your life and that obviously you can't change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's sad that it's eye-opening because it never should have been a situation where your eyes needed to be opened. It should have been, there were so many people present in the upbringing of every child that had the opportunity to normalize different behaviors, different lifestyles, different identities, and they chose at many different opportunities to not only not normalize those things, but to actively vilify them in order to maintain a hold over you. And that sucks to realize.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that I'm really grateful that, like, you know, growing up, I was told an awful lot of like shitty opinions, but I'm also
same, yeah.
so happy that, like, as the years have gone by, not only have, like, shout out to my parents for not being like shitty forever. You know, like, they've changed a lot of their opinions as they've grown older and their kids are all like a bunch of, you know, godless communists. And, you know, here we all are now. And not only have they like changed, but they don't hold it against us. And I really, really appreciate that. Because there's definitely a world where like all three of their children exiting the church would have been like a relationship ender. And it's not even like an uncommon thing where that could have been a relationship ender.
I think that it's something where like I see that and I'm not jealous of it because it's not like my parents are actively like hateful or harmful. But there's a lot of, for my parents, that just a lot of denial over where I stand in terms of like politics and religion.
Yeah.
And it's just like really sad to see people that you care about and that obviously care about you not know how to come to terms with the person that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just nothing to really be done about it because it's not, the onus is not on me to do anything about that. But, you know, that's part of growing, though, is when you're growing away from something that's negative, sometimes that means changing in ways that aren't happy changes, but are necessary changes so that you can become a better person. Dead Space is like a really good game.
It is. It is.
No, I mean, it's a little heavy, but it's not really like anything new, and it's not anything like groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing we haven't said multiple times on here before.
At least it's just how it is on this bitch of an earth.
Mm-hmm.
We are pretty heavy on the time. I suppose we should probably.
It'll cut down to in the 50 minutes, I'm sure, by the time I edit this.
Okay.
But yeah,
what note are we gonna end on? D sharp, go.
I
don't know if that was right.
don't think it's a D sharp, but none of my instruments are in tune, so I couldn't tell you. Half sec. Let me see.
Got the tuning app open. You use a tuning app.
Tuning note. D sharp. Let's see.
A computer.
If this hits me with an ad. You know what? That was way closer than I thought I would be. I like You know, I can play it back and I'll have been like,
Look, I was gonna say, you'll have to play it back because I can't confirm or deny that that's true. So you're gonna have to play that one back and be your own judge in the editing. I do think it was a little more off than you were claiming.
Oh, it's 100% more off, but in my mind, I made exactly the same sound, even though like side by side right now, you know that you can hear that's not the same sound. You all know, but for me in this moment right now, I'm perfect.
And the best thing about that is, in this moment right now, no one can take that from you.
Exactly. Now, when I'm editing later, I'll be like, God, Noah, why did you think that?
But right now, today, there's no stopping you.
All this being said, Dead Space is a 10 out of 10 remake. Oh, there's side quests now.
Whoa,
but they're like actually worked into the story.
Who are you doing side quests for?
That's the thing. They added more NPCs into the game.
There's fellas.
Yeah. You don't see them. They're like over calls and stuff like that. But there's actually like side quests that you do where you're collecting like access cards to access new rooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are the people in the rooms or are they kind of like dead every time?
No, they're not dead. Half of them are just like contacting me over radio, and as far as I know, so far are still okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I would have expected it to be like, hey, here's the person on the radio, and then by the time you get there, they're dead half the time.
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm following around and watching like video logs of what has happened in different areas, like putting 2 and 2 together of where different things are, and then you get a gift at the end of some type.
Oh, if it's a horse, do not look that in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. You kidding me? I don't want to look anything in Dead Space in the mouth.
Especially a gift horse. If I can give you one piece of advice, it's that. Hey, sick horse, thanks for giving me this as a gift. Do you mind if I check out its mouth?
Imagine
asshole move
such
right
a social faux pas. I would never.
That's so awkward. Like, did you just ask to look a gift horse in the mouth?
Everyone's looking at you right now, and they can't believe that you just looked that gift horse in the mouth. The whole club is not looking at her mouth.
Yeah, because she's a gift horse.
Exactly.
That's one of those phrases that, like, half the time you say it, someone will be like, what's that even mean? And that's one of my favorite moments because I know what it means.
Do you explain what it means, or you just sit there in your happiness and pride knowing?
I love explaining.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure, because it is a fun one to explain, in my opinion.
Like, oh, yeah, so when you receive a gift horse. Let's not explain it right now, though, because nobody asked.
Nobody asked, you know, because I know, and you know.
If you want to know why you don't look a gift horse in the mouse, well...
You look at the horse in the mouse? That's weird, man.
And there I was, looking straight into his mouth.